So what we're trying to do is we're trying to convert our old storeroom at the back into a nice new shower block facility for our guests. But in order to do that, we need to raise a fairly significant amount of money, which we don't have at the moment. So in order to try and do that, I've been on a bit of a walk around North Norfolk. It was 8 days, 6 days of walking in total, and I covered 108 miles in the baking sunshine, carrying all of my camping equipment along the way as well. So yeah, it was nice, but also challenging at the same time. Another reason why I did it is not too long ago, I had a fairly nasty motorcycle accident where I broke my back, shattered pretty much all of my face, and I had some other fairly minor injuries as well. So I just wanted to prove to myself that, I can still do that kind of thing and that my recovery is going in the right direction. So yeah, that's the story of the walk.
This episode is supported by the Bishop Stortford community newsletter. There's so much happening in town, it's hard to keep up. New businesses opening, community events, local stories, and opportunities for all of us to get involved and make Bishop Stortford a great place to live. That's why we created a free weekly newsletter that brings together the best at Bishop Stortford in one place. There's no endless scrolling of hunting through Facebook groups, just the stories, events, and local updates that matter. If you'd like to stay connected to what's happening in Bishop Stortford, sign up using the link in the show notes. Okay, back to the episode. Welcome to the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast, the show where we shine a light on the incredible businesses, community leaders, and local legends shaping our town. I'm your host, James O'Donnell, and today we are joined by Ollie. Ollie, great to have you on the show.
Hi, James. How are you?
Wonderful and hot, all at the same time. Ollie, for those of us who don't know you yet, who are you and what do you do here in Bishop Stortford?
So I am the Deputy Manager at Holy Trinity Night Shelter in Bishop Stortford. We're on South Street. For those of you who know it, where Quickfit is, there's a church opposite that, and we're in the old church hall directly behind the church. Yeah, we are a small independent night shelter. We open for guests during the winter time. So there's about 3 months of the year where we have people actually staying with us. And then the rest of the year, we can't take overnight guests, but we try and help them with their homelessness issues, put them in touch with addiction clinics, mental health clinics, anything else that they might need. We offer a drop-in service 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They can come in, they can get fed, they can have a shower, they can wash their clothes. Anything that you and I might take for granted, we try to offer to them because they just don't have access to quite a lot of things that you and I might.
It's a fantastic work that you're doing there, Ollie. We've had Dave on before as well, talking about the work there, and the more that we can shine a light on the work that you're doing to support in any way we can, that would be fantastic. I understand you've gone for a little walk recently to support that, make some money.
Little might be underselling it a little bit. So we're entirely reliant on donations. We do get a small amount of money from the council from time to time, but the vast majority of our funding comes from the generosity of the local people of Bishop Stortford and the surrounding area. We are trying to kick off a building project at the moment. So we have one shower for our overnight guests. We can have 8, maybe 9 or 10 people staying with us at any one time over the winter. We have to ask them to leave quite early in the morning because the volunteers who run the overnight shifts, they've got places to be. So quite often there can be a bit of a logjam for the shower. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to convert our old storeroom at the back into a nice new shower block facility for our guests. But in order to do that, we need to raise a fairly significant amount of money, which we don't have at the moment. So in order to try and do that, I've been on a bit of a walk around North Norfolk. It was 8 days, 6 days of walking in total, and I covered 108 miles in the baking sunshine, carrying all of my camping equipment along the way as well. So yeah, it was nice, but also challenging at the same time. Another reason why I did it is not too long ago, I had a fairly nasty motorcycle accident where I broke my back, shattered pretty much all of my face, and I had some other fairly minor injuries as well. So I just wanted to prove to myself that, I can still do that kind of thing and that my recovery is going in the right direction. So yeah, that's the story of the walk. And I got back on Monday after finishing in Lowestoft.
It's Wednesday today. How are the muscles feeling? How's the skin on the bottom of your feet? How's your sleep going?
No, so the muscles aren't too bad, actually. I thought I would be aching a little bit more. It's all the other sort of little niggling injuries around it. My upper back is pretty much seized up. That's the extent of the muscle injuries. I get patellar tendonitis, so that was starting to flare up as I was getting towards the end. I've got a really tight ITB band, which is the tendon that runs down the side of your leg. So when I lie down, that's quite painful. Probably the worst was the blisters. One blister in particular on my little toe. I popped it quite early on, and underneath the Compeed plaster, it seemed to work all of the rest of the skin around my little toe loose as well. So as I got to the halfway stage, I was forced to sort of discard the plaster, chop the skin off with a knife, and then carry on, unfortunately.
Have you got some nice sports massage lined up to help you in your recovery?
Not yet. I'm going to get the kids to walk on my back and walk on my legs. I think that's about the extent of my the massage that I've got booked at the moment. But I'm going to look for some kind of sports massage just to sort of speed up the recovery.
We'll give a shout out on the podcast. I mean, you never know who might be listening in, who might be able to support you there, Ollie. Now, this walk you've gone, this is an incredible feat for anybody to go out on. You couldn't have picked a better time as well with the heat that you've had to cope with, and the extent of your recovery from where you were to where you are now. Have you surprised yourself in being able to kind of get through that?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been fairly inactive over the last 4 years. I've been trying to get back into some of the things that I wanted to do before, but the injuries that I sustained mean that you keep on getting niggling injuries and little setbacks here and there, so you can't really do anything that's too consistent and make progress. So I was surprised that I could actually, number one, get around it, and number two, get around it in the time that I'd set myself as well. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the achievement. And we've raised a fairly decent amount of money at the moment. I'm looking at the GoFundMe page. I think we're on about 6.5K. We've got a very generous benefactor who wants to remain anonymous in town, who's going to match fund everything we get. So we're on about £13,000 at the moment. The aim is to raise 20K. So we're not a million miles away. A few £1,000s with the match funding should get us to where we need to be.
That's fantastic. And what we'll do is we'll put the link to the GoFundMe in the show notes below so that people listening in can check that out. Have you got some photographs on there as well of your injuries and the walk and the scenery
I
you went
didn't
on?
want to take any pictures of the injuries. I didn't think that was appropriate. But I've got plenty of photos from the walk, and I tried to keep everybody who donated money updated as to my progress. So I tried to do a little daily blog as I was going around. There's a couple of days that I missed here and there, but otherwise, there's quite a lot of detail on there.
What did you find most surprising from going on the walk?
I've been to the area quite a lot before, and I was aware of the natural beauty around the area, but there was quite a few villages and towns and stuff that I'd never been to before, and I was surprised at quite how, nice a place they are to visit. But yeah, I think that was it. It was discovering the new places that was the highlight of the trip for me.
Yeah, and you were camping out as well, weren't you, through the walk?
Yeah, that's right. I carried all of my camping equipment with me. I think I didn't weigh the pack, but I would estimate it to be somewhere between 10 and 12 kilos, depending on the water. I was carrying 2 litres of water to start with, so that's an extra 2 kilos. But yeah, camping along the way, it's nice. The campsites I visited were very nice. They're very sort of open, nice places to rest. But I think I picked the wrong tent. I picked a bright orange tent. And that comes with 2 downfalls, really. One is the bugs absolutely loved it, and they managed to get themselves between the inner tent and the outer tent, and buzzing during the day and during the night. It was like sitting in some kind of giant kazoo. But then the other downside with an orange tent is that as soon as the light comes up, as soon as the sun comes up, everything just gets illuminated. So it's like from about 3:15, 3:30, it's like sitting inside a light bulb, and it's almost impossible to get back to sleep. So the benefit of that is that it forced me to get up early, and I could get a few good miles in before it really started to get hot, because it did get hot.
Yeah, I bet. Your boots now worn out now. They're ready for the trash.
I took trainers. Wow. Actually. I do have some hiking boots, but what I hadn't quite factored in is that in the hot weather that you're walking, your feet tend to expand a little bit, and my feet expanded a lot, and it got to the point where my boots didn't fit anymore. So I took a pair of trainers with me that I got quite cheap at TK Maxx. I did wear them in, so they weren't the cause of the blister. I think the blisters were caused by just 108 miles worth of walking over 6 days. But no, I've kept them. They're still in fairly good nick.
They're still all right. Oh, okay. I thought you might chuck them on eBay as 100-mile walk.
You wouldn't want to own those shoes now.
You never know. You might get some good money for that kind of thing.
Maybe there might be a small niche subsection of the market who might be interested in that kind of thing. But
yeah, definitely. Ollie, thank you so much for coming on and talking us through your efforts with the night shelter and the work that you've done and the walk that you've gone on to raise money for that. It's fantastic to see that. Whenever I've known you from before coming on the podcast, and whenever I talk about you to other people, I just say your kindness of spirit just kind of shines through you, and it's just fantastic that you're doing these kind of things. All I do is shine a light on other people, and the work that you're doing is brilliant. Thank you so much for everything you do for the community. It's been wonderful. Are you ready for some Stortford Spotlight questions now?
Absolutely.
Quick pause, because this episode is supported by StortAI. Most businesses know AI is probably going to help their business in one way or the other. The problem is they're so busy running their business, they don't know where to start. They don't know what questions to ask. That's where StortAI comes in. We sit down with businesses, look at how things actually work day to day, and identify simple ways to save time, reduce admin, and improve systems using AI and other automation tools. There's no jargon or complicated technology. It's just practical ideas to make life just a little bit easier as a business owner. If you're curious about what AI could do for your business, have a look at StortAI in the show notes. Okay, back to the episode. Fantastic. These are 3 super fast questions that we ask every guest that come onto the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast. First question. If you could put a billboard in Jackson Square, what would it say, and who needs to hear it the most?
I would probably put, do you remember those old National Lottery adverts where there's a finger pointing and it says it could be you? So I'd have that. But we're desperate for volunteers. And we need to try and get as many through the door as possible, especially as we're coming up to the winter season now. So there's that, everybody could be a volunteer, and it could be you. But then, there's the other side to that, which is the slightly more darker side. In that, we get quite a lot of people coming through our doors as a guest who just don't expect to be in that situation. And the point is, you never know that, one bad event or one, how do I put it? One life-changing event could really change your situation and put you in a situation that you're not really expecting. So yeah, it drives awareness twofold, I think, by having something like that.
Yeah, definitely. What would a volunteer be doing? What would that look like?
Anything. So if you want to pop down for one of our drop-in sessions, you could be serving lunch. You could be washing clothes. You could be helping us take in donations, sort through donations. Getting pods ready for the winter, or if you're super keen, you could sign up for one of our overnight shifts where you can sit with the guests, have a chat before bed, and then you're just there. We can't let them stay on their own, unfortunately. We need a couple of volunteers overnight to help supervise the operation, in case there's a fire or something like that. So yeah, there's that, and there's also serving dinner in the evening as well.
Where would people need to go online to kind of sign up for that, or to express interest to volunteer?
So we have a website. So if you Google Holy Trinity Night Shelter, Bishop Stortford, it will take you straight there. If you're interested in becoming a volunteer, there'll be some contact information on there, and it will be sent straight through to Dave, who will handle your query.
So I think some people will be able to support through the GoFundMe, but some people might not be able to do that, and they might just want to be able to give their time to support the work that you're doing. So I think that's a really good shout out. We'll put a link to that in the show notes as well, so if anybody wants to do that and support, they can. This episode is being supported by one of my businesses, a brilliant local business called StortBox. If you've ever moved house, you'll know the pain of hunting for cardboard boxes, building them, taping them up, and then figuring out what to do with them afterwards. StortBox makes moving simpler with strong, reusable moving crates delivered straight to your door and collected when you're finished. Less stress, less waste, and a much easier move. It's a local business helping local people move smarter. So have a look at StortBox in the show notes below and see if it can make your next move a little bit easier. Okay, back to the episode. Question 2. Where do you go in Stortford that you secretly hope never gets too popular?
So that one's quite easy. I'd say Bluebell Wood. So I don't know if you know it, but it's sort of around the Twyford Lock area. You can access it by going down Pig Lane, and then you get to the lock, and then you enter a really nice nature reserve. So sometimes I walk to work. I did that quite a lot when I was training for the walk, and it's just a really good area to go and, decompress and after a hard, stressful shift.
Fantastic. What a great recommendation. Yeah, I think it's one of those places not a lot of people know about.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like it to stay that way.
Yeah, we'll advertise it, but we'll make sure nobody else goes there when you're there, Ollie. So you keeps you nice and calm.
That'd be great.
Thanks for that. Question 3. Who's doing something special in town that more people need to know about?
This is an easy one as well. I think I have to give a shout out to the volunteers. They give up so much of their spare time, and they get absolutely nothing in return for it, apart from the occasional bit of grief from either me or Dave or sometimes the guests. So we need to take the opportunity to recognise their contribution every chance we get. So yeah, my spotlight goes out to our volunteers.
How many do you have?
I think at the last count we had over 100 volunteers who are on the register. There's less than that who are active volunteers. On a Monday and a Wednesday and a Friday, we've got a core group for each who turn up for every single shift. We really struggle when it gets to winter, understandably, because it's really difficult for people to give up time and do an overnight shift or even a dinner shift. So yeah, just wanted to praise the ones that we do have and ask for any more help if there is any out there.
Fantastic. We'll put this out. I'm sure there'll be people out there that haven't heard of you before. That the population of Stortford is growing every day, so I'm sure there's going to be people out there with good hearts that want to invest in the community. And what better way of doing it than supporting you and Dave in the work that you're doing there? Do you want to give a shout out to your GoFundMe one more time?
Yeah, if you go to the GoFundMe website and search for Holy Trinity Night Shelter, you'll see a couple of fundraisers on there. My one is the 100-mile North Norfolk walk. Click on that, and if you want to leave a small donation, every pound is welcome. So yeah, please pay the site visit.
Fantastic. We'll put that in the show notes so anybody can jump on and support the work that you're doing there. Ollie, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for all the work that you're doing, and thank you again for joining us on the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast.
Thanks for having me on.
No worries, Ollie. If you've enjoyed this episode, the best way to support the show is to hit follow, leave a quick review on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify, and then share it on your social so that more people can hear about the awesome work that Ollie is doing. And then maybe also share it with someone who's not on social media so they can support Holy Trinity Night Shelter and also the walk that Ollie has recently done. Support that on GoFundMe. I say walk. It's like a trek. Walk sounds like a walk down the shops, doesn't it? It's like a adventure.
It was more of a march.
March. Oh, great term. And if you've got a local legend, someone else who is investing in the town, giving up their time to make the community a better place, helping other people that you think we should feature next on the podcast, drop their name in the comments below and I can reach out to them, invite them on the podcast and have a little chat and shine a light on the work that they're doing. Again, Ollie, thank you so much for joining us today on the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Ollie.
Thank you.